Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted to welcome you to the 2023 ceremony for the Presidential Awards for Community Multicultural Enrichment, or Pacme as it's better known as. Pacme celebrates members of the VCU community who go beyond the call of duty in supporting and promoting our greatest and unlimited asset, our people who create, heal, learn, live, research, and work at VCU. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are hallmarks of our institution and have continuously propelled us towards excellence. Pacme was established in 1994 by President Emeritus Dr. Eugene Trani to recognize and encourage activities that promote civility, build community, establish effective cross-cultural initiatives, and advocate for equity and inclusion. Under our current president, Dr. Michael Rao, we have expanded our efforts to recognize leaders who work toward diversity and inclusion and persist in building a climate and culture that takes strategic action to achieve equity. Today, we honor the winners of this year's Pacme for their commitment and substantive action towards actualizing VCU's key goal of diversity driving excellence. Without any further ado, let's get our program started. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce our president, who leads our university and health system with passion, knowledge, and an unquenchable commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion for all. Throughout his tenure, he has centered these values through his actions and leadership, and he has been stalwart in holding true to these values. Please welcome to the podium Dr. Michael Rao.
Thank you, Ruben. Good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon. So this is a great event every year, and we really enjoy the opportunity to really just celebrate humanity more generally, but specifically all of us who really embrace all of humanity. And although there are a lot of folks who I think believe that they celebrate humanity, I'm not sure that they embrace all of humanity and celebrate and really have appreciation for all of the ways in which people are different and the great value that that brings to any organization or any, really, in our case, large community. And Ruben said it well when he talked about how what we're doing and really at a high level, I think much higher level than most organizations, truly embracing all humans, is we're really on a road to a much stronger and healthier level of excellence. And if you think about what we all believe, or at least what I think most of us believe, it's a much easier life to live than when you're carving out and deciding which kinds of humans you don't approve of as much. And so we are a truly public research university. When I focus on those words, I'm trying to focus on truly and public. And of course, medical center. I'm very proud to serve as the state's safety net. We take care of everyone, anyone who comes to us. And we respect and value the varying perspectives that are in our community. And we have something to learn from all of those perspectives. And we most certainly acknowledge all of the different contributions that different people from different backgrounds bring to us. I was just looking at a number of things with our country in terms of data that talk about where we're going, looking at demographics, and we are continuing to grow more beautifully diverse every year, and I say every year because that's really when the measures are taken. And we're growing diverse, and some of the measures are things that we look at, see, and there are many measures that we can't see, but are an important part of our diversity. There's so many different ways in which people are different, and we're adding to those categories every year, and as we begin to understand the value of all of those differences, we recognize the importance of those in increasing the value of our country as one that really embraces all of the ways in which human beings are different. These are shifts that are continuing to really be our opportunity to to develop our understanding of the ways in which we are different, and to understand how it strengthens our country and strengthens the human experience that we have, in so many ways, even more so than in so many other parts of the world. And it's one of the greatest things about being in the United States of America. But we have a lot of work to do, and we recognize it, which is exactly why we really have to recognize models of great leadership in advancing and promoting civility, building community, and nurturing a more welcoming and inclusive environment. And so as part of that inclusive environment, we really strive to practice what is referred to, and what I will refer to, as radical empathy. So there are a lot of different ways in which you can use the word radical, and I prefer to use it in positive ways. And there was an author, let me read to you what Isabel Wilkerson, the first woman of African American heritage to win the Pulitzer Prize, by the way, in journalism. What she did is describe the work that we all do, and here's exactly what she said. She said, "Radical empathy means putting the work to educate oneself and to listen with a humble heart to understand another's experience from their perspective, not as we imagine we would feel. Radical empathy is not about you and what you think you would do in a situation you have never been in and perhaps never will. It is the kindred connection from a place of deep knowing that opens your spirit to the pain of another as they perceive it, not as you perceive it." And that is a level of growth and opportunity that so many of us have on so many levels. And that includes people who oftentimes think that they are great advocates for those of us who they think may need greater representation than we are capable of giving ourselves. But I love what she said, and I just think it's important for us to think about that, understanding people's experiences from their perspectives. And that's a key part of that perspective. At VCU, we talk a lot about putting the needs of both students and patients first. That means understanding things from their perspective. It means supporting the success of all students in the very best of patient outcomes for all of our patients. But again, trying to connect to their perspectives as opposed to our own perspectives. And we want to support their experiences from their perspectives. And we endeavor to make those experiences as positive as possible. But it begins really with a level of understanding that doesn't naturally exist, just because of the ways in which we are built and all the things that we learn that we probably have to continue to work on unlearning as we consider other people and their needs and perspectives. So today, we're going to celebrate colleagues and friends whose extraordinary efforts take us closer to embracing the inclusive place that we talk about at VCU. It's helping us become real to our words and true to our words. And so as I think about the people who are sitting on this stage who we will honor today, they're people with what I would describe as humble hearts, and they're also great examples for every single one of us. And I'm really, really delighted and honored that we will have this opportunity to celebrate them. They are really the models, and that's why we select them. It's why we really want to put them on stage. It's what we will need in order to truly have this opportunity to advance humanity and the human experience for everyone from their perspectives. And so we'll learn lots as we listen to what we hear from each one of the folks who will be presenting, each of our award winners. Before I close out, I do want to say thank you to everyone who has put our program here together today, including the Pacme Selection Committee, and I know Technology Services has been involved, and there's no question that so many of you have been a part of making today possible. I thank all of you for coming together to recognize and celebrate our role models of this university who are truly committed to embracing people and understanding at a much deeper level their perspectives and their needs. So let's get on with the program, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be a part of saying thank you to the people who deserve to be recognized.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rao, for your inspiring remarks. Celebrating the Pacme Awards is such a wonderful occasion each year because it represents something special about VCU and our community. I would also like to acknowledge the 2023 Pacme Selection Committee and ask them to please stand, and anybody else who helped make this event possible, please rise so we can also recognize your efforts. Don't be shy. I want to say that I've served on the selection committee for many years. I had the honor of serving as chair this year. And most of the committee members are made up of previous Pacme Award winners. And they really know what Dr. Rao was describing as contributions to our community, as our 2023 awardees will add to that as well. Thank you for all who played the critical role, not only in screening the nominations of our many outstanding candidates, but for your own individual examples of leadership and your support for diversity, equity, and inclusion at VCU. And now it is my pleasure to introduce today's Pacme Award presenter, our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Fotis Soteropoulos.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for all the good work you're doing at VCU and for chairing the committee. Now let's begin in recognizing the very talented and committed individuals who have made such a difference at VCU, our 2023 Pacme winners. So the winner of the 2023 Pacme Award for Community Multicultural Engagement, Presidential Award for Community Multicultural Enrichment for Academic and Administrative Leadership is Dr. Alina Hampton. Dr. Hampton serves as the Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs in the College of Health Professions. Dr. Hampton was nominated for this honor by Dr. Susan Parrish, the Dean of the College of Health Professions and the Centara Professor of Health Administration. Dr. Parrish, may I ask you to please share some remarks with us?
With pleasure. Thank you, Provost. Good afternoon. I am so pleased to be here to celebrate this year's Pacme Awards. Congratulations to all of the honorees. Thank you for your meaningful work for VCU, Richmond, and the people of Virginia. I am thrilled to recognize this year's Pacme recipient of the Academic and Administrative Leadership Award, Dr. Alina Hampton. Her leadership in the College of Health Professions has truly been transformative, a word that is often overused, but which perfectly captures the magnitude of her impact and successes. She has led numerous initiatives designed to advance the university's strategic plan priority of diversity driving excellence. In this capacity, she created our college's Diversity Merit Scholarship, our Minority Alumni Mentoring Program, and she developed an incentive program for faculty to pursue DEI work in the curriculum, ensuring that our health professional students are effectively prepared to serve patients in our highly diverse healthcare environment. Another critically important success Dr. Hampton has realized was the total transformation of the college's admissions program. Grounded in a shared governance model with active engagement of faculty and staff, Dr. Hampton led the creation of our holistic admissions program. Her rigorous efforts yielded significant increases in the enrollment of graduate students from historically minoritized backgrounds. Dr. Hampton, Alina, thank you for your superb work in the College of Health Professions. VCU is so fortunate to have your leadership, and it has been my privilege to work with and learn from you. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition of your achievements.
Thank you very much. I am honored to be among this year's winners of the Presidential Awards for Community Multicultural Enrichment. I'd like to thank Dean Susan Parrish for her leadership, mentorship, friendship, and her nomination. Thank you to Drs. Kevin Harris and Stephen Davis who supported that nomination, and thank you to the selection committee who deemed my nomination worthy of selection. I'd also like to thank the students, faculty, and staff that I've had the privilege of collaborating with in this important work over the years. As I thought about what I would share with you today, I realized that the words diversity, equity, and inclusion have never officially been in any of my job titles. I have always, though, held a personal responsibility for helping to create a more equitable and inclusive environment, particularly for our students. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to do that here with so many wonderful colleagues who are striving toward that same goal, many of whom are in the room today and others who are joining us virtually. It really matters to me that my work makes a meaningful contribution, so it really does mean the world to me to be acknowledged here today. Thank you.
Aren't you good? Are you?
Wait, it doesn't. You have to assist. Our next award is the Faculty Award. There are two winners this year. The first winner of the 2023 Pacme Award for Faculty is Dr. Lane Karasik. Dr. Karasik is Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical and Nuclear Engineering. That's very important because that's also the department I belong. So I feel especially Mechanical and Nuclear Engineering pride here. I now invite Dr. Veni Philippas, Commonwealth Center for Advanced Manufacturing Professor, to share some remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Provost Sotiropoulos, for the introduction. Plato said, "Nothing can be more absurd than the practice that prevails in our country of men and women not following the same pursuits with all their strengths and with one mind, for thus the state, instead of being whole, is reduced to half." Please replace men and women in this quote with any and all forms of exclusionary practices based on gender identity, sexual preferences, religion, nationality. The list keeps growing. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are starting to be recognized as being mutually beneficial. But in making that argument, let's not undervalue that being diverse, equitable, and inclusive is simply the right thing to do and the right way to be. That establishing equity is not an act of giving. It is an act of not taking away. I believe that it is this ethical imperative that drives Lane Karasik and others like him to do what they do. We are recognizing Lane today not because he is pursuing a better way to work, but because he fights for what's right. He pursues equity for all with passion, selflessness, dedication, and equally important, ability. I am proud to call myself Lane Karasik's friend and colleague. Lane, thank you for all that you have done in the name of lifting the voices that need to be heard.
So you all will have to excuse me. I am just coming back from a conference last week where we had 25 to 27 students, I can't remember what the final number was, where we won 4 awards that the students did really well competing against other institutions of our caliber. And I think our student body really represents the diversity that we have here and also the inclusion that leads to the equity that we all strive for. That leads me to say, and also howdy y'all, I went to Texas for grad school and Tennessee for undergrad, so I bleed orange and white and maroon and white, but I am finding out that I'm bleeding now black and gold now too. I did that for the students because it's nice to be able to show your flair off a little bit when you're at a conference. It's with distinct honor to receive one of the 2 faculty awards for the Pacme, particularly with the focus of this award on equity, diversity, inclusion. Being a very research active faculty member, receiving one of these awards is very meaningful to me, because this is not something that a lot of faculty in engineering across the nation really care about. That's not to say that our faculty do not, and I would say that as a professor in engineering, an employee in engineering, I'm receiving this award, but there are several folks in engineering that deserve this award as well. They are not honored here today, but I would not be able to be here at VCU without them setting the path for me to be here. And I do want to say that being one of the ones honored for it does give me a lot of motivation to work with my colleagues even more on trying to push us forward. I want to give an example of what makes VCU special to me, whether it's in engineering or across the board, because I know all the colleges, all the schools, all the units under VCU care about diversity, equity, inclusion. But when COVID hit in March, and I went from teaching my first class in person to my first class online, one of my students would show up to class every day, sleeping in class, would randomly answer questions whenever they'd suddenly wake up and answer, but their grades were not great. And after COVID hit and shut everything down, suddenly I noticed that their grades were getting better and that they were turning in all their homeworks on time, and they finished out my class with a very good grade. And I asked them, hey, what happened? And they told me, I work full-time, or at least I did before COVID hit, and I just didn't have the time to do all the homework. And that to me really sold it to me that we are addressing systematic issues at VCU that you would not be able to do so at our colleague institutions. We really do hit a community of students and faculty and staff that you really truly would not see at other places. It would make me proud to be at VCU and allows me to recruit the students that I want to recruit in my undergraduate research program, my graduate research program, and in general, just in part on those students, it is important for them to be successful regardless of what their GPAs are, where they came from, and what other folks may perceive of them. So I truly appreciate receiving this award, and again, I would not be able to be here without colleagues such as Vidi. And thank you, everybody.
So many people can be who they are because of you. Thank you.
Mike, we have to optimize the process. Congratulations. Good job. The second winner of the 2023 Pacme Award for Faculty is Nikki Fernandez. Ms. Fernandez is an instructor within the Focused Inquiry Program. I now invite Dr. Katie Logan, Associate Professor of Focused Inquiry, to share some remarks about Nikki.
Hello, everyone. It is a very deep honor to be here today introducing Nikki Fernandez, who is my colleague in the Department of Focused Inquiry. Ours is a department of dedicated teachers. Each of us provides the essential service of supporting student intellectual growth in conversation with their broader communities. Even within that context, Nikki's work stands out as extraordinary. As Professors Ali Tharp, Frank Cha, and I put our nominating materials together, We spoke to the way Nikki's record of teaching and community outreach is rooted in intention and clarity of purpose. She intertwines the classroom and greater Richmond. Frank, for example, credits Nikki's Richmond Rides bike tours with educating participants on Richmond history and, quote, helping students become better citizens and stewards of our university and surrounding city. We highlighted as particularly worthy of recognition Nikki's development of The Warmth, which is a free week-long reading and writing intensive for young Black adults in the Richmond region, and it's now entering its 3rd year. This is Allie, quote, "The Warmth offers participants slowness, deep thought, and support. It is a beautiful reflection of what true service can be, a sphere of influence that can improve our community. I think it's also worth noting that in a moment of budget cuts that make resources scarce, Nikki has shouldered burdens for fundraising by drawing in a wide range of community stakeholders. Through The Warmth, Nikki has constructed a sustained mentorship program, and the presence of Warmth participants in the room today is a testament to the long-lasting impact of that work. In a writing prompt, Nikki asks Warmth participants to reflect on a time when you were inspired and encouraged to grow. Frank, Allie, and I are encouraged to grow when we observe the care and courage with which Nikki approaches community engagement. And after hearing from her today, I suspect you will too.
I'm going to try not to cry, and I had a little bit too much coffee, so please forgive me if I talk really, really quickly. Thank you, Katie, thank you, Allie, thank you, Frank, for your generous words and for this empowering nomination. I came to Richmond when I came to VCU in 2009 as an undergraduate student. I chose this institution over other institutions like UVA and William & Mary because I believed in its stated mission to cultivate a community of diversity among students and faculty. What I received from my time here is access to a host of life-changing mentors in Richmond City. I received mentoring and leading historical bike tours, mentoring and leading groups on the trail of enslaved Africans, mentoring on leading community writing workshops that created space to inspect our motivations, our wounds, our desires, our hidden commitments. But one of the most significant mentorship moments happened when Pam Smith, and Pam, if you're watching, I love you, but Pam Smith, a Black historian and fundraiser at Richmond Hill, convinced me that my vision for a fully funded, accessible reading and writing overnight intensive for young Black students could become a reality. Pam convinced me out of my fear and told me that if with determination, I put my reparative justice programmatic vision out there, that the money would come to materialize it. I'm so thankful that I listened to her because The Warmth has been able to host 2 successful intensives, and right now we're fundraising for our 3rd. One of the things that this work has taught me is that community enrichment programs that are sustainable and healthy require consistent commitment to economic redistribution. The Warmth is founded on the idealistic belief that scarcity is simply a convincing myth, and that if we could only divorce ourselves from this rampant materialism, we could provide increased access to life-changing experiences that promote growth, healing, and well-being. My belief has been challenged, and I have felt discouraged at times by institutions not structured to support redistribution in this way, but I have been humbled, so humbled, by my community, by my colleagues, by my friends, by their sacrifices that have made our life-giving experiences as a Warmth community possible. And I can't look at you guys, but to you, the beautiful members of the Warmth who are here today, thank you. Your thinking, your writing, your creativity, your hope, your heart, you all are amazing, and I'm so thankful to be in community with you.
The recipient of the 2023 Pacme Award for Staff is Monique Sample. Monique serves as the Diversity Programs and Employer Partnership Specialist in University Career Services. I invite now Daniel Pearls, the Associate Director of Employer and Experiential Development in University Career Services, to share remarks on Monique's behalf, as well as on behalf of Samara Reynolds, Monique's nominator. Daniel?
Monique Sample is a genuine, compassionate, creative, and energetic leader in the DEI space. There is not a day that goes by without Monique exceeding the expectations of her role in an effort to increase awareness of and action to support justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Quite honestly, this consistent embodiment of inclusive excellence, combined with her commitment to our students, team, VCU, and the Richmond community, were the underpinnings of her promotion in place in fall 2022 as our first ever Diversity Programs and Employer Partnership Specialist in VCU Career Services. Monique serves as a cross-team collaborator, leader, and strategist on advancing VCU Career Services' collective work related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice in the career development and college recruiting space. Monique has helped create resources, design programs, engage employers, and elevate initiatives focused on creating and connecting students to equitable opportunities. She's consistently pushing the envelope for our team on how we can be better advocates, more involved, and more responsive to student needs, especially when they hold one or more marginalized identities or underrepresented backgrounds as they prepare for the professional world. She is being sought as a thought leader and presenter within this area for both local and regional events, such as her presentation last month with the National Disability Rights Network. Monique is resourceful, thoughtful, and a great problem solver who's willing to do what it takes to ensure the broader organization and community get what they need to thrive, even in difficult and unique circumstances. Usman Babar, VCU student and co-nominator, summarized it perfectly when he wrote, "Monique has and will do anything to create a community of care within VCU and has done generations of work while only serving in these positions for a short amount of time. She's an invaluable asset in the VCU community and should be looked to as a model for diversity on campus." And Monique's acceptance speech, because she couldn't be here with us today. "Thank you to my nominators for their thoughtful and generous words. I really wish I could be present with you all today. However, I still have a few words I would like to share with you. I will be the first to admit that when the award nomination email came out, I could think of a long list of other people here at VCU who are doing amazing things to nominate, and my name was not included on the list. I've never done this work for accolades or to be recognized. To be honest, it's quite the opposite. I'd rather be in the background, staying out of the spotlight, pushing everyone else to the front, and letting them get the recognition and reward for the work. I was completely shocked when I received notification that I was receiving an award for doing something I feel is so integral to who I am as a person. I try to live as authentically as possible in all spaces, to see and hear the people the way they want to be seen and heard, and make sure I hold and create space for them. I want people, our students especially, feeling empowered and knowing they have what it takes. I have to admit, there was a time when I almost gave up on working in higher education. Someone I respected told me I wasn't cut out for it and wouldn't make a difference in students' lives, and it was a real gut punch. That challenge made me question my ability to lead and support students in their journey toward navigating life. I'm here today because I didn't let those words define me. Instead, I took a step back, gained perspective, and found a new way to approach this work. And I'm so glad I did. I want to encourage everyone here to think about the impact you can have on the world around you. You may not always realize it, but everything you do can make a difference. Whether it's creating a safe or inclusive space for others, pushing doors and windows open for those who have been shut out, pausing in our ever so busy lives to meet someone where they are in a moment of need, or simply being a light of hope in a dark world, Your actions matter. I urge all of us to continue the important work that we do daily, even when it's challenging. Let us stay committed to creating a better future for all members of our community. Let us continue to push for change and challenge ourselves to think beyond our own experiences and perspectives. Thank you again to those who nominated me for this award, to the selection committee, and to everyone here who shares my passion for this work. I know we are all doing amazing things, and it does not go unnoticed. I look forward to working with each of you in finding ways to make our community more equitable and inclusive for all. This work is not easy. There will be setbacks, and there will be challenges, and there will be moments when you feel like giving up. Don't. I promise you, it's worth it. Let's push beyond basic and go for the unimaginable. Thank you.
In 2019, a student Pacme winner, Tristan Sloan, won the Rees Melton Award. Sadly, Tristan passed away that year. They were the best of VCU, a student driven to learn, a community member who modeled inclusion, a survivor who embraced joy. In honor of them, VCU named the Pacme Award for Students the Tristan Sloan Pacme Award. The winner of the 2023 Tristan Sloan Presidential Award for Community Multicultural Enrichment is Corinthia Cory Nicolai. Cory was nominated for this honor by Sharon Zumbrun, Director of Doctoral Studies and Associate Professor of Educational Physiology in the School of Education. Dr. Zumbrun, may I please ask you to come to the stage?
Hi, everyone. I have the pleasure and honor of introducing the nomination for to be Dr. Cory Nicolai. Cory is a doctoral student of educational psychology in the School of Education, and I am Cory's advisor, her supervisor, and her dissertation chair. She sees a lot of me because of these roles, and so I know her well, and I am so very often impressed by her, but more importantly, inspired by her. She teaches me so many things. Importantly, although I'm the nominator standing here speaking today, Cory's nomination was supported by comments and letters from so many others, including the dean, faculty, staff, and students in the School of Education. To all of us, Cory stands out as a scholar and an advocate truly dedicated to equity. In her short time at VCU, she has already made so many meaningful efforts and contributions to building community, establishing cross-cultural initiatives, advocating for equity, and nurturing a welcoming and inclusively excellent environment. Impressively, these contributions span across her research, teaching, and service, both here at VCU and beyond. For example, Cory's already a national leader in conversations about race and racism in the field of educational psychology, serving in important roles at both the American Psychological Association and in the national organization, American Educational Research Association. This leadership is mirrored in her engagement across diversity and equity initiatives in the School of Education and across VCU. Though still a doctoral student, students, faculty, and staff alike see her as an important colleague and an important thought partner. We are so lucky to have Cory in our program, school, and at VCU. She is exactly the type of colleague that I've always wanted and that we all very much need. I couldn't be more proud of you, Corey. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Goodness, it's the first time I feel like I got introduced by someone like that, so that was really nice. But I'm so honored to have been nominated and selected for this award, especially being part of and hearing about the legacy that I am part of both in the past and hopefully carrying on to the future. So doing this equity-focused work is crucial and a core part of my identity as a scholar and a human. And I want to start by saying thank you to those who organized and wrote for the nomination. And I also want to take the time and to acknowledge and think of all the other students, faculty, and staff who have done this work either with me, without me, before me, and will continue to do this work after me. I especially want to say thanks to all the other graduate students and undergraduate students who have been doing this work. I think similar to many other people, I was very honored to receive that and thought of many other people that I knew were equally, if not more worthy of being recognized in this way. I want to acknowledge the Home Scholars program here at VCU. They've been my rock throughout my time as a graduate student and always provide support and have also taught me so much in my time here. I also want to thank the Ed Psych program, all my colleagues and peers and other students in the program, as well as faculty and mentors that I've had as well. I also want to thank the DEI committee within the School of Education and all the faculty, staff, and students who serve on that, and I've learned so much with them and have continued to push this work forward. I also want to encourage all of us to be brave, compassionate, and vulnerable as we continue to do this equity work, especially as we face a lot of backlash for the progress that we are making. And then to sum it all up, I just want to encourage everyone to find their community and to do this work with their community, because without each other, it can't be done. So thank you all.
It is now my pleasure to present the President's Inclusive Excellence Lifetime Achievement Award. This award honors an individual for their outstanding lifetime achievement in promoting diversity and inclusion through leadership and service. Today, we present this award to someone who has exemplified these qualities throughout her distinguished career at VCU, Dr. Faith Wilkerson. For over 20 years, as a 3-time VCU degree holder, a former student leader, and VCU employee, Dr. Wilkerson has been the epitome of what the university represents through its strategic plan and diversity initiatives. After working with the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs for many years, Dr. Wilkerson joined the VCU School of Education as the program director for our Minority Recruitment, Retention, and Equity Center. Dr. Wilkerson is a key part of a national effort to recruit and retain Black educators through teacher residency programs with the goal of improving student outcomes. Dr. Wilkerson has agreed to facilitate sessions for the School of Education Office of Strategic Engagement's Anti-Racist Educator and Leader Series that engaged over 600 educators over 2.5 years period. Dr. Wilkerson is a true champion of inclusion, equity, and diversity. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Dr. Faith Wilkerson.
Y'all tried it. First of all, Ms. Walker, the fact that you got away with not having to introduce me We'll talk about that later. So just like the rest of you ladies, I had a really serious speech, but I'm also like you, I'm a punk, so I diverted really quickly in my brain. And I heard a voice in my head from a friend of mine that said, "You're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award at your age? That's crazy." And I said, okay, I'm gonna lead with that. And so first and foremost, though, I would like to thank, of course, the Pacme Committee for this amazing honor, the Provost's Office, the President's Office, Dr. Rodriguez as well. As a person that actually coordinated this very ceremony for 8 years, finally getting one is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I know a lot of the audience, just like my friend, is like, this woman up here cannot be that old to be getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's true, I am really young. That is the gimmick we're going to keep up with, but my 23 years of service gives me a little bit of street cred here at the university. My story about why I even live in Richmond always starts with I came to VCU in the summer of 2000 and simply never left. From the moment I stepped on campus, I started the journey of becoming what we call a lifelong Ram. I have lived in Johnson Hall for 10 minutes. That's the story for another day. Rhodes Hall, Gladding Residence Hall, and Ackle Residence Center, but back in my day, it was simply called West Broad Street Apartments. My dining hall was actually on the first floor of Hibbs. Hello, University College folks there. I used to eat there every day. We did not have a sushi bar or crab legs. There was a McDonald's downstairs, not a Chick-fil-A. Rambucks, don't know what those are either. And most importantly, I used to register by going through a really, really, really thick book and then would go down to the registrar's office. Many students don't know where that is, and actually have to register in person for my classes, okay? I say all that to say, yes, I am bitter, I'm angry, and thank you, Dr. Ralph, for all of our progression. All right. I also like to brag that I'm a 3-time graduate. Sometimes I make my friends call me Dr. Three-Peat. I belong to a very small, but I think crew of folks who have degrees signed by Dr. Troney and Dr. Ralph, so that's my bragging point that I tell to people. For those that still don't believe I'm as old as I am, my Virginia retirement system plan is 1. All right, only about 5 of y'all get why that's very important. I am truly a poster child, though, for what it means to be homegrown. I was a work study student in the University Career Center. I was a graduate assistant for student activities. I then held both full-time positions and in student activities, the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and as just mentioned, currently working in the School of Education to help recruit and retain our educators of color. What most folks don't know is that for the last 6 months, I've also been overseeing our Mary and Frances Youth Center over on Cary Street, and so I'm doing my part because at this moment, the community engagement team, this is our 3 p.m. normal meeting. So I'd like to thank Dr. Masso for allowing us to have this as our working group day. If you guys see Rich, Verenda, Stephen, Sherry, please wave to them and talk to them. If you have not seen the Quest 28, we have a lot of heavy lifting to do, so the community engagement team would love to for you guys to help us out, all right? Other than that, lastly, I'd like to thank Beverly Walker, Iwanzi Isom, Andrew Dare, Daniel Harrison, LaRon Scott, Melinda Anderson, Kelly Lemon, Joseph Lyons, and Marilyn Day for being some of the greatest bosses, mentors, and coworkers I could have ever asked for. Congratulations to all of you all as well. As Corey said, it is not easy work that we do every day, but we are grateful for all the support that we see from you all on a daily basis.
And now, it is my distinct pleasure to present the winner of the Capstone Pacme Award, the Rees Melton Award. This award recognizes one of our Pacme winner award recipients for exemplary service toward promoting cross-cultural relations. The Rees Melton Award is named for the 2 pathfinders in our institution's history who dared to reach across the racial divide during less enlightened times. Dr. Walter J. Rees fled Nazi Germany during World War II, bringing with him a deep-seated belief in the equal rights of all people. He served as professor of neurology and psychiatry at our medical center, championing the rights of African American employees during the time of segregation, when it was unpopular to take that stand. One of these employees was Mr. Herman Melton, who worked at the medical center for more than 50 years. For much of that time, he assisted Dr. Rees in his research, trained other technicians, and was a valuable resource to medical students. We continue the Rees-Melton Award because it reminds us of these two courageous individuals who did so much to create a culture in which today we are able to celebrate diversity. Please join me in congratulating the winner of the 2023 Rees-Melton Award, Dr. Faith Wilkerson. Woo! You're the best.
Thank you.
What can I say? All right. Thank you again to President Rao, Mangala Subramanian, Ruben Rodriguez, the selection committee, all our 2023 Pacme winners, and to all of this year's nominators and nominees. Each Pacme winner is an exemplar of the power of relationships and how, when we honor our relationships, we create something that is bigger than ourselves, bigger than the sum of its parts. Each of you has devoted your time, energy, and ethic to building relationships that undergird inclusion. We have a fly here that needs an award, I guess. I mean, equity and justice. Let us now enjoy some refreshments and community fellowship. Thank you all and congratulations again.